Let's jump right into what I've got a few numbers. Obviously, since we're doing this on a weekly basis, the first one was much more exhaustive about market details and data. We've kind of gotten past that introductory phase, and so this is just a little bit more of a high level look at what's changed in the last week, so we can have better conversations with everybody that we're working with. So I will share everybody's favorite part. That and we'll get right into it. So from a high level going down, what we're seeing right now is, yes, the job market is still upside down. Things are pretty funky. 1 in 3 of those jobs lost is a hospitality or food and bev job. 1 in 3 is a startling number. I mean, you've got one third of your entire 20 some odd million jobs lost is in the hospitality industry. That's I think we're going to see that number drop dramatically in the next couple of weeks. But just from a high level, you've got jobless claims falling across the country, and you'll see what it looks like in our state. This last week alone, there was a 16% decrease in jobless claim filings. So those folks that were out of work are going back to work slowly but surely, and I think you're going to start to see that pick up once more and more and more openings occur. Buyer demand right now is rising, and I'll show you what that looks like in terms of a couple of different things. One is prices. Home prices still advancing forward and upward. And also, two, a big surge in mortgage applications and mortgage filings. So the buyer demand is there, and the ability for buyers to actually go make offers and buy houses right now is coming back in droves. What that really means is right now, today, this minute, yesterday, last week, whatever it might be, that is the time to take advantage of this opportunity that is right here. And the opportunity really lies in having more information for everyone to be able to share. So let's look at Q1. There's a couple of really big key points in here that I want you guys to hang on. You notice that there's a lot of negative numbers here. Obviously, GDP fell 4.8%, which was a little bit shy of what the forecast in Q1 was. Q2 is going to be more like 20%. But note what you got here in consumer and business spending. Both consumer and business spending decreased slightly. But you can see where these two real positive numbers: residential investment up 21% from this time last year. Personal savings up 152% from this time last year. That's unbelievable. What it means is that people are spending wisely right now. Now, I don't know, this could have all changed, because I know everybody and their cat and their cat's grandmother that did nothing but shop on Amazon for the last 6 weeks. So we'll see what this number looks like once the rest of Q2 data comes through. But what writ large, what you have, what it means is that people are putting money away in their pocket. They're saving at a higher rate right now. What that means is, from a housing perspective, they're also putting money into their homes. Whether it's purchasing, whether it's building, or whether it's remodeling, people are making sound and wise investments writ large. Now, how that equates to the housing market, that savings means a less of a likelihood of defaults on loans, less of a likelihood of folks not being able to come to the table to purchase a house because their savings have been totally wiped away. It means that on an average, Americans have a little bit more money in their piggy bank than they have in years past. That's a good thing for us going forward. Now, if this changes, if for some reason or another, this lull in the economy continues on, there could be a change in this. But I see I see right now a flight to quality for home sales, quality investments, and quality in savings. There's also a flight to quality for real estate agents. We all know this. There's a flight to quality right now. They are still doing business with the people that they need to be doing business with. And you've got a survey of economists from the Wall Street Journal, 85% of whom believes that a recovery will begin in the second half of 2020. I've harped on this, but now what we've got here, you can look at the meaty chunk of all of the opinions of these economists. Now, again, economists, are they always right on forecasting? No, they're not always right on forecasting. But when you have a majority of people leaning on the second half of this year with a vast majority of folks leaning on the third quarter, I feel very, very confident that we've already really seen it. Now, again, the future is impossible to predict, but what all the signs are leading towards is there is going to be a very abrupt bounce beginning in the second half of the year. What that means? So with this next 3, 4, 5 weeks of our time right now is crucial in building the business that we're going to create for the rest of the year. I cannot emphasize that enough. The time that we spend for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks is going to determine just exactly how our year turns out. I know that's not rocket science, but it is crucial to hit the ground running now. So I talked about unemployment filings, and so here you can see that layoffs decreased in the state by 16% compared to the previous week. There was a 5,000 person drop in jobless claims. South Carolina is one of actually the least hard hit in terms of unemployment filings, but also right now is one of the largest droppers in unemployment claims. That's not even a word, but we're falling at a rapid rate. People are coming back to work in South Carolina a little bit quicker than in other states of the union. Washington's probably the highest drop, but they were also one of the hardest hit in terms of unemployment filings, New Hampshire and Connecticut as well. But in terms of jobless claims, we've seen almost a 1/5 reduction in jobless claims over week. This isn't over a long period of time. This is just in the last week. So those numbers largely indicate that, one, yes, South Carolina is opening up on a larger scale, but two, those jobs that I was talking about last week and the week before about how 90% of these job losses were going to be temporary as opposed to permanent, we're seeing the temporary workforce coming back in droves. So that 90% is starting to reopen again. And just for reference, so that everybody can see how the trend line goes here from home sales and unemployment rates. So you can see right now that the yellow line being the unemployment rate and the blue bars being existing home sales. Note that there is not a direct correlation to unemployment rates and home sales. You look there, number 3, that's your 2008 crash. 1991 right there, there's a high unemployment rate. This was right after the Gulf War. And 2003, 2004, that's the dot-com bubble right there. So you can see these recent spikes in unemployment due to a couple of key events. The next one, well, you'll see in 2020, once we get through all of this, and we will get through all of this, you'll see that unemployment rate will pop to 14.7%. But you can see that even in times of higher unemployment, that does not directly correlate to a drop in home price, in home sales. The only exception there being that window from 2008 to 2010, and that was a housing crash. It's just quite plain and simple. It was a housing crash. this is not like then. That's the only thing that I can really lean on, is that this is not like then. And the numbers directly back up that assumption. Home sales are still happening at a year-over-year increase. Home sales prices are rising at a normal level, not cuckoo and not zero flat. And buyers are buying and sellers are selling. And another reason, so I said something about mortgage applications. So that return to the trend line, you can look here, and this was from an NAR publication that was put out last week of an economic forecast, and you can see that line there. So right around the Ides of March, you see that dip in mortgage availability or mortgage applications. This was the initial fall off from the lockdown, and it also coincided with a couple of key metrics that from the financing industry that raised some standards, if you will, for mortgage applications and for home buyers. There were some restrictions that were put in place that dropped some of the availability of home loans, most notably the jumbo loans, and also too there were some issues right off the bat with government-backed loans, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, your FHA, VA, USDA loans. There was a problem getting all of those out. So obviously, loan applications dropped dramatically. Now you look in the last week and a half, you see a pretty dramatic return back to not really the baseline, but close to it. And so that return to the current standard trend line showcases that not only are more buyers applying for home loans, but it's that the banks are able to fund those new purchases. Now, yes, jumbo loans are still kind of hard to come by. USDA and FHA loans and VA loans are still a little wonky, but they're getting better. Closing times, really for them, the only issue right now is in the closing lead indicator from contract to close. It just takes a little bit longer for those government loans to be funded. But they're coming back to the return to not really normal, but right now. And that's a promising sign. So really, at the end of the day, we're halfway done with the year right now. We are literally halfway done with the year. And if you can take time, again, to clean your database. If you haven't put a whole bunch of people in your database or any people at all, it is time. Please. That what you cannot measure, you cannot improve on. And winging it just doesn't cut it right now. Like I've said, that flight to quality, that flight to the right agent, that is real right now. And it is now more than ever, it's time for us to just up our game. I want you guys to make a promise to yourself, whatever it is, the second half of the year, by the end of the second half of the year, make a personal commitment to yourself to knuckle down. I mean, it takes time to build a business. It takes hard work to build a business. Look at it as if you're a startup. Look at this as an opportunity to start up right now. Seriously. And you know what startups do? Startups work long hours all day, every day. I'm not saying 24/7, but it takes time and it takes effort. So make some sort of promise to yourself, whether it's units of production or new clients to work with or a dollar amount. I don't really care. Pick something and commit to it. Make me your accountability partner if necessary. In fact, I welcome that opportunity. I want you to succeed, and I'm here to help you do it. Work on the listing presentation, please. If you have ordered a listing presentation, the physical copy of which I have them in my office, I'm going to send something out this afternoon about coming to pick it up. But if you have not, I strongly encourage you to order one. The company is supplying one copy of the hard copy listing presentation for you to be able to work with free of charge. So seriously take us up on that offer, please, and practice it. Practice it, practice it. Like I said, winging it doesn't cut it right now. Get in conversation with anybody and everybody. I mean, seriously, the more information that you have, the more that you're going to want to share that information, right? So doing this on a daily basis, doing this for the benefit of you guys on a weekly basis is really the bare minimum. I mean, I'm looking at it on a daily basis, and I can't even sell right now. So if I'm doing it on a daily basis, and the gold standard of the agents in the marketplace are doing this on a daily basis, you got to be doing it on a daily basis as well. And then be able to have that information zoned in your brain so that you can have conversations. You're not worried about what you're going to say next. You're freeing yourself up to listen to the folks that you're having conversations with, to understand their point of view and to help them gain the knowledge or the trust or the expertise that they are looking for, if they're looking for it. And it frees you up to have a human conversation, to connect with those people. And that's really, honest to God, that's what a lot of the people, the folks that we're dealing with, that are coming up and like, hey, how's the market? Or the folks that are, I'm really not sure right now. I think we're going to wait for a little while. I'm not sure how this whole thing's going to turn out. I don't know if we're going to list right now. I think we probably shouldn't buy. Like, we're going to wait for a little while. It opens you up to be able to just have an honest, human, connected conversation with those folks, rather than just trying to fumble for, actually, I really kind of need to make a whole bunch of deals right now, so you probably should do it. I mean, it allows you to be human and jump into action. That's it. None of it matters unless you put it to work, right? Like I said, we're halfway done. It's time to get going. It's been time to get going, because it's the market is telling us, it's literally screaming that we haven't gone away, and in fact, quite the opposite. The market's already here. Spring is now going to jump into the summer market. So we are literally going to have 2 seasons rolled into one. And just know that I'm here to help, and that I'm really, really, really wishing and pulling for your success. And I'm here to help in any possible way that I can. Well, that's a little brief update for you guys. And I hope that there's some useful information in there. I think that you're really, more than anything, just that key takeaway that it's here. It's here. And it's time for us to, whether or not you're uncertain or nervous about prospecting or reaching out to folks right now, people need help to understand what's actually happening in the marketplace. I mean, I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about this exact same thing, and he was nervous. Extremely intelligent guy, a doctor, but he was looking for. He was talking about, I think we were thinking about selling our house, but we're just not going to do it right now. Now's not a good time. He and I had a conversation that lasted all of about 7 minutes. And the takeaway was, wow, I really didn't realize that, because that's why I keep hammering these points about unemployment rates don't equal a dip in home sales. And the fact that we're in a recession right now in the economy, that does not mean that the housing market is going down, because it's not. It's just about knowing what's happening right now and arming yourself with that consistent habit of keeping track of the data, knowing where to go, knowing all of the facts and figures, not guessing, not winging it, and just making a commitment to be that quality agent that people are going to want to come to for that advice and that information and that reassurance that things aren't as they appear to be. They are what they are. The simple fact of the matter is our days on market in the Greenville area is still below 60 days. The average sales price still is up 3.8% from last month. We sold more houses in April when the world was upside down than we did in February of this year. Now, yes, there's a seasonally adjusted dip in sales, but we sold more units in April when half of the world was on an unpaid vacation. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of folks that just literally checked out and took themselves out of the business and went on an unpaid trip to their couch. It's time to get off the couch. No judgment if you were on the couch, but I know every single one of y'all that's on this call was working their butt off during this entire time. And now it's time to continue doing that, but with the intention that you're going to go get better, use this information, and go help the people that need help right now in our marketplace. And it starts with this information right here. And so whether it's NAR, the research and statistics that come out on a weekly basis, there's a new flash survey that's out on NAR right now today, whether it's GGAR's compiled data, whether it's Keeping Current Matters, whether it's Inman News, whether it's the Wall Street Journal, for crying out loud. Every single Friday, you want to know what they got in there? A big old honking heap of real estate stuff. Every single Friday. Just arm yourself with the knowledge that will help you go be that voice of reason and knowledge while the whole world's upside down. But just understand that all of the facts and figures are showing that we have turned ourselves up off of our backs and are now getting back to walking. Not running, but walking. You guys are awesome. I really, really, really appreciate everything. Do you, anybody have any questions or thoughts? All right. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you so very much. I will see you guys in the office hopefully soon, starting on Monday. Obviously, there's a jump back to the phase 2 reopening guidelines. I'm going to reiterate some of that stuff for you this afternoon as well, just to have some bullet points in place. But we're gonna keep on trucking. Jennifer, you unmuted.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna tell you something after everybody leaves.
Okay, got it. Okay, well, guys, call me if you have any questions. Thank you so very much. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, did you see on the list that Stephanie sent, we're supposed to have the agent's initial when they pick up those listing binders?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to sign for them. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure you saw that.
Yeah,
I swear I have seen Angela's riders though.
You do?
Hold on, someone just rang my doorbell.
The package.
Oh, it's UPS.
Hmm. You do?
I swear
I don't remember.
Because what Sharon sent, like the tracking information, it only showed her business card and her name tag. So I don't know, but it aggravates me that you would wait until you needed it to pitch a fit about it, something that you haven't received in 2 months, and then make a big deal about it and not have said anything, and then be like, well, where's my package? Where literally she had been sent the tracking email and all she had to do was hit.
Well, your internet does not like you. Hey.
Being very animated and muted.
Yeah, I was just saying your internet does not like you.
No, I'll just call you.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Okay, bye.